despite what their moms told them. They just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't figure myself out sometimes, so don't even try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network. At Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Live on X Spaces for the fan feedback segment of every post-game show. We're back to talk about Syracuse's loss in the Dome in primetime Friday night, 27-10. We'll get to all that, but first, as always, let's hear what Coach had to say following the game.
Just appreciate everything from Syracuse community, everybody that attended the game on Halloween, trick or treat, all the kids. Appreciate them all being here. Thank Coach Belichick and his staff did an amazing job. Came here. I hope that they get home safe and enjoy the rest of their season.
Fran, for a lot of this season, you talked about treating Ricky Collins' development like he was a freshman and needing time. Why did you decide sort of 4 games was enough?
Just try to get something new to happen. Just something to keep going on and being able to move. It was a month straight of football, and we got other kids on the football team also, right? And just trying to get a new spark or something different to be able to move, hoping that would give our team a little bit of momentum.
And had Luke and Joe played better than him in practice, or was it that just sort of a hope that something good might happen?
No, it's always about play. I wouldn't hope. Like, I couldn't hope with people's future or hope on the Block S or anything of that nature. So anytime everyone that gets in the game, it's all about how you play and how you produce in practice.
And then as far as Anwar Sparrow, just that positive, the one scoring play that you had besides the field goal, just what you've seen from Sparrow as he's gone through the season.
I thought he's dealt with adversity since I've been here from in the beginning of at the end of last year, thinking about going into the portal, then coming out of the portal, and then being on the football team to about a week and a half ago of didn't get in the game at all just because of him, just the mindset of like, dang, I'm a senior, I didn't play. I was just a little bit upset. So then him getting his start tonight, he actually got a start, and then he was able to score. So I'm happy for him. I think that him, Joe, different guys show you to continue to have faith and work extremely hard because you never know when your number will be called.
Yeah, Coach, was there any thought at all of putting Ricky back in it all in the game, or was he available if needed tonight?
I mean, I thought about it naturally to run through your mind, but it just wouldn't have been fair to the rest of the kids or to him. I mean, just to be able to come back in and now I'm coming in, I have to go throw and things of that nature. So it was like, of course you thought about it. I thought it at the end, though, right? I thought when it was like, game was over, you just start thinking of stuff, and just wasn't the time to do that.
Even though you said Joe earned the start tonight, it's quite a challenge, though, throwing a true freshman, a walk-on, who was way down the depth chart, to go out against one of the best defensive coaches in football history. So what was his mindset, you think, coming into the game? And
I thought it would be a little bit nervous, but it'd be straight. But it was also, it would have been a challenge because Ricky never got to play, right, at all. And then the first time he got in the game here was his first time playing, right, against a football team. And then if you go back through it, now it's just me, like, saying it. Of course, like, we got to get a quarterback. We got some things we got to do. But you guys kept asking me, you going to get another quarterback? We get another quarterback. Are we going to get another quarterback? And then when you get the opportunity to see another quarterback, now you want to question, like, why do we have another quarterback? We just had another quarterback because he beat them out in practice, right? It's all based on practice. So the reason he played is because he won in practice. He done things in practice where all of us looked at it and we felt as though he would be the guy that could go in to help keep the game manageable so that way we can get an opportunity of winning, right?
This was kind of a surprise to him at all. Did he really believe that he could rise up the depth chart this season and actually start in a game when the season started?
I mean, I feel like due to the fact of him knowing every play, it wasn't like plays were busted out there, right? So it should tell you where our program is from a growing standpoint. You had a freshman who came in that you guys had. I told you said he was the fifth quarterback or something like that. You said so. You had a freshman that came in that was on the scout team, fifth string. He was running routes in the spring at receiver sometime just to make sure. So that shows you how well we are teaching, right, and getting them to understand. There wasn't a busted play. There wasn't things of that nature. So he was able to continue to stay focused on the playbook, learning all the things and staying locked in, which says a lot about who he is as a kid. Because most kids, when they don't play and they're on the scout team, they just got the big lip, and then they're upset and they're not focused. So he was able to still know every play on offense, be able to use all those plays. So I think it'll be promise there. There's some things that, of course, you look at. Okay, you need to make this. Hey, you need to do that. That was his first time in live bullets. He didn't throw them the ball, right? Now, he didn't throw us the ball a whole lot either. But ultimately, it's mine. So everything, like I know the laws. Guys, I can handle everything that's going to come. Fran needs to do this. Hey, he needs to do that. Just understand and know that that's on Fran. That was on myself, right? Let's continue to push that. One positive I can say is usually it's been lopsided with the turnovers. This week, it wasn't lopsided, right? It was 1-1, right? We got to be able to stop the run, but we got to run the ball. We also got to be able to pass. How much did we pass for, like 50 yards or something, 30 yards? But, I mean, we got to pick all of those little things up. So from a coordinating perspective, those guys got to get a little bit more creative so we can get things done. And I'm not saying they're not doing a great job. Things aren't right. So don't take it and go it that way. But we got to be able to adapt to our players' ability so we can go out and find a way to get a win. And next week, we got a big team we got to go play, right? We get to go down to Miami and compete against them. So we got to go do everything we can to find a way to get a win. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Okay. Some defensive fireworks early with Anwar Sparrow. We'll talk about that. But the offense never got into a rhythm. They totaled 147 yards of offense. North Carolina's 425. We talk about, it's a tale of two halves. It's the tale of one half, really. We had, what are you sending me?
Just for later.
Joe, okay, all right. Joe's sending me stuff, texting me things. Usually that means there's a technical issue, but not this time. Where was I, Joe? So usually we talk about, it's a tale of two halves. But it's a tale of one half. And that was the second half. Because it was 10-6 going into the locker room, right? That half. Mm-hmm. So just what we talked about in regard to the defense getting worn out because the offense couldn't sustain drives. I mean, it was beyond that, really. Fran thought 4 games was enough and to give Ricky a shot, and he went 0-4. And, you know, I don't think I had it in the montage, and I'm disappointed in myself. But Fran did mention about, everybody's asking to see a new quarterback. Everybody's asking for this. Everybody's asking for this.
It was in there.
Was it in? Okay, I missed it while I was writing stuff down then. Well, you got to see it again because we already played this game once, so everybody got to see it. So now look, I'm not a football genius. I'm not a football scheme or minded guy, but I know what I see with my eyes, and I have pretty good amount of common sense. And I'm not a told you so guy, but I told you so. I mean, we went into a game against a crap North Carolina team that we could have won. And now you say, oh yeah, I said this on Twitter. Well, they're a crap team. Well, what are we? Well, we're worse. When you take a guy who came here to play lacrosse, walks on the football team for fun, and you throw him in to start a game against a team that you could beat. I feel like Ricky had a chance. He could have beat this team at quarterback if he was at quarterback. And listen, when you've got a walk-on guy that's here to play lacrosse and you throw him in at quarterback, can somebody, anyone else, help him out in catching some of these balls? There was drop balls. There was numerous balls that should have been caught. Talking senior guys. What are we doing? It was the first time I actually questioned Fran's coaching scheme. Like, I mean, I maybe have questioned things, but nothing like this. I was so confused when the start of this game happened. And I was like, okay, well, one of two things. Either he sees something in him and has been seeing it, and all of a sudden we're going to try this now and something's going to happen, or this is just going to be an absolute poop in the pants diaper change, and we got the latter. So, I mean, I understand I understand both sides of it. Coach wanted to put Flaherty in to try to spark something to see what would happen, and then you stick with him for the whole game. Like, I understand that mentality and I respect that mentality, and I've said it a number of times. But there comes a point, and that point came in this game, where you have to say to yourself, okay, we're going to go back with Ricky. It just has to happen, because aren't we out there trying to win games? Don't we want to win games? Are we just trying to go out there and experience it? And if we make a mistake and we put someone in the game, then we realize, okay, this is not going to work, then we go back with what we started with. Are you that ashamed of, or that like worried about it, people criticizing that much that you flip-flopped on a decision? Like, you got to do what's best for the Block S, right? I feel like we didn't do what was best for the Block S, because I feel like we failed to actually compete for a win, and this isn't practice anymore. I feel like we wasted a game throwing a guy in there that is talk about not ready. I mean, I don't get it, Joe. Help me understand. And you and I have not talked about this, so no. I don't totally know where you're coming from, but help me understand why we wouldn't come into this game with a winning mindset and put Ricky in, as he has gotten comfortable over 4 weeks, and maybe he's not where we all want him to be or where coach wants him to be, but damn it, at the end of the day, he's more qualified, and I think everybody can stop. Well, something needed to change. Is the something 4 for 18 for 39 yards? Is that the something that needed to change? Because no. I'm sorry, I don't like that kind of change. I think that change sucks.
Yeah, that's no bueno. Of course, again, when I first heard that, I thought it was a little bit of gamesmanship, right? Because, I mean, if Ricky Collins wasn't going to start, I think a lot of people assumed it was going to be Luke Carney. But obviously, between Luke Carney and Flaherty, I mean, let's be honest. Flaherty, he played, like, again, he's a lacrosse player. He's got a lacrosse scholarship. Played quarterback, decent athlete.
4-star lacrosse guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can see a situation why, he could be a walk-on, but from what I understand, he didn't have any stars as far as being a quarterback coming out. And that doesn't mean that he can't beat some of the other backups, right? But playing high school football in New York, this is a huge step up, especially as a true freshman in competition. Also, everyone wants, to look at Luke Carney, and you can point to his stats and everything like that. Pretty sure that Luke Carney I think he played in like 2A Texas, like high school football. So there was always a question of the competition that he played against as well. So obviously, as true freshmen, I can see a world where these guys are athletic. They can make a couple things happen, but they're just not ready to, just air it out the way that, Nixon wants us to, as far as, the offense goes. The offense, it fits Kyle McCord, it fit Angeli, and, Ricky Collins, to your point, at least he was, he was throwing some interceptions, but he was throwing and he was completing some passes and things like that. I don't think that he did this to persuade or to let the fans know, hey, look, you guys keep asking for another quarterback, and then we could send another quarterback out there, and then you're talking about the other quarterback that you didn't want to see out there, right? So I could understand his answer, but I don't think he did that on purpose. To be perfectly honest with you, I thought that it was a situation where he was I think he wanted to try to trick, Bill Belichick, right? You look at North Carolina, they have been playing better the last 2 games. They definitely could have won some games. Their defense has been playing better. Bill Belichick is a defensive coach. So I can see a situation where they're like, all right, let me start somebody that he doesn't have any tape on, and let's see if we can't sneak up on him and maybe surprise him, knowing that he was probably game planning for Ricky Collins this whole week, right? Just to turn around and call a different starter. But if I was him, I would have done that for the first half and then had Bill Belichick wonder about, how are we going to fix this during halftime, then turn around and come back and have Ricky start the second half and let that go, right? Or at some point, bring Ricky back in. Use Filardi's legs, use Carney's legs to have a little bit of a different game plan towards a defense that probably didn't game plan against that. Do it till it works and then bring Ricky in, right? And then it never happened. That's really, I think, my biggest takeaway. And there could be a couple different reasons. I've seen a lot of speculation on the internet about, getting younger players. I guess there was a lot of recruits there, and, you do something like that and you're showing your recruits a pretty, quick path to playing time. And then there's also the thought process of, hey, we need to figure out what these guys have before the end of the season so that he can go out in the transfer portal and patch together what he needs, right? And in some ways, it looks like they're giving up on the season. And
that's kind of it. I mean, that's what I mean. That's what I mean by why aren't we going out to try to win games? Why are we experimenting? Like, is that the necessary experiment, Joe? I mean, like, this kid's going to play lacrosse. I mean, I don't know. And you go down so far into the depth chart, bro. Like, I got to be honest, man. I didn't know what a Joe Filardi was like 24 hours, 48 hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm well aware. Right. And then the people talk about Jakari Williams. And I think, between me and you, if I had to guess, I'd guess he's probably going to transfer because he's been here for 2 years. And obviously, he didn't get second string. So he's probably looking at it as he's going to be third string. He's going to have to go somewhere to get a chance to play. And who knows? I mean, again, there's a lot of things that are behind closed doors. We don't know if something did happen to Ricky Collins throughout the week, whether it was some type of physical thing or maybe he was sick. Or, I don't think that he's going to tell us one way or another. But I don't know. There's just a lot of speculation here because, again, fans wanted to see other quarterbacks. We saw other quarterbacks, and they're not good. They're not ready right now. And it's obvious, people want to bang on Ricky Collins, but it's obvious that he's, the best option that we have right now, healthy.
Yeah, maybe your best option isn't a great option, but at the end of the day, it's your best option. And the last time I checked, and I trust Coach, he was out here talking about, I'm going to start who I think can win. And, you got, there's a little bit of, look, I'm not saying this is the case. Okay. And I'm not talking anything. None of this is meant to be negative towards Coach or, Filardi, who was thrown into this thing, or, even Luke Carney or anybody. But at the end of the day, maybe there's a little bit too much pride in the fact that you can't just make the adjustment and put the guy who's started the last 4 games in, because you might not, because it's not fair to someone. What's not fair is letting this kid play this game in just looking incompetent. They're 4 for 18 for 39 yards, and that might be a little harsh, but I'm just saying, like, we are a D1 football team in the ACC, and we mustered up 147 yards of offense, 39 of those coming from the passing game, is really pathetic, and it's laughable. So I don't think what we did what was best for the Block S is all I'm saying.
Again, to me, I just think, again, if you have like I said, you can say what you want about Ricky Collins, but he was throwing the ball. He was running the ball. We were allowed to run. We were allowed to be multidimensional on offense. It's just there was mistakes and inconsistency. In this situation, we were only, we're very one-sided with Luke Carney or Filardi. it's run the ball or bust. And of course, the quarterbacks were running a little bit more. But again, it's gimmicky. Like it just felt gimmicky. Almost like when Dino put Valari in there and did the Wildcat, right?
I said the same thing to my wife the night of the game. That's what it felt like. Did it not feel a little Baber-esque?
Yes, but at the end of the day, I thought it was going to be a situation where I thought in time I was like, okay, it's a little bit different, but we're running the ball, we're getting some first downs. We had a defensive touchdown. Like I thought that he was basically kind of just trying something new, seeing how long he could get away with it. But eventually, a defensive coach like
Belichick,
Bill Belichick, is going to eventually figure it out. So they figured it out real quick. It was real quick. You could, and even the announcers, they picked it up every time that he got a little bit of rush. He was trying to roll out to the right. So what were they doing? They were just they were trying to force him to the right, basically, or trying to force him to the left because he didn't want to go that way. And like you said, it was pretty obvious that he wasn't ready for that kind of game after North Carolina made the adjustments. So again, if he would have done that the first half, got out of the first half with a lead, and then you come out the third quarter and it was planned, okay, let's see, Bill Belichick's probably he's probably putting in some stuff to figure out how to stop this run stuff. Let's switch it up and then put Ricky in. And they didn't do that. They put Carney in, a 3-and-out, and then they had one play for a touchdown to take the lead 13-10. Then, Carney came back in, and we had a 6-minute drive, but we had to punt. And they end up scoring a touchdown. They go 12 plays for 80 yards in 7 minutes. They gobble up the rest of the half of the quarter. And the next thing you know, you're losing 20-10, and it's the fourth quarter. And at that point, I felt like it would have been unfair to bring Ricky in at that point and expect him to come back and win.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. I mean, I think if you're going to do this, if you're going to pull this kind of move, and I understand it from your original point, of the standpoint that, you're trying to throw this other team off. Well, you got to know that at halftime, this is not sustainable for your defense to be out on the field, and they did a tremendous job in the first half. We've already seen this movie, bro, this year. And you know how it ends every time. So I don't understand the stubbornness to just throw Ricky in. I think they throw Ricky in at the beginning of the half. You want to really throw a wrench in people's plans. That's how you do it. I mean,
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Like, I thought it was a little bit of gamesmanship, right? Maybe we catch them off guard, and we keep them close and make them worry about this situation, while also showing the fans that Ricky is our best option. And then you go in at halftime, hopefully close game or the lead, which we did, again, because of the defensive touchdown. And then you bring in Ricky and you say,
is it unfair, Joe, to bring in Ricky in the second half while he's probably chomping at the bit going, man, I know I can do better than what I'm seeing right now? Even, we're all got to be honest at some point and just say, Ricky would have been. I said something on Twitter about we'd be moving the ball way better if Ricky Collins was in the game right now. Well, he'd have thrown 3 interceptions by now, or it's like, okay, guys. At the time, it was like, I think it was maybe, gosh, I don't know, 3 for 15 for 33 yards or something like that. I mean, in a lost fumble, I'm just like,
I don't think he completed his first pass until what?
It was like his first 10 were incomplete. I'm almost positive. And like I said, I'll say it again. Like, he's got to get some help. Like, there's players on that team that should be catching balls that did not catch balls.
Yeah, but also too, there was some timing that was off. You could tell
some bad throws,
accuracy issues, right? Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, again, I'm not, and as a player, you have to be in the game and everything. But I will tell you that as a receiver, when you're out there basically blocking every down, and it doesn't really keep you in the game that much. You want to get the ball and you want to make some stuff happen. So I think the most disappointing thing is that they didn't have a backup plan as far as like, hey, like these are the situations where we're going to bring Ricky in. You know, when you start to see, okay, maybe it worked a little bit. It's a close game near the end of the first half, but North Carolina is starting to figure it out. You know that there's not a change that you're going to make at halftime that's going to allow Filardi to go out there and throw the ball around and be, you know, successful. So to me, it just seemed like they never had to me, it seems like they told Ricky, like, hey, we're going to go this direction. And you're probably not going to get in the game. Barring injury, you're not getting in the game. Because there was no hey, if we get to this point, hey, if we get, at what point do we bring Ricky back in? And I'm sorry, but Luke Carney, if they're not going to let him throw, then bringing him in the second half, it's not really
no sense.
It wasn't a change as to what Filardi was doing. It was the same thing. It was
completely pointless. Like, we know they don't want him to throw the ball, so why would you put him in anyway? Who's that? Is that fair to everybody? I'm just curious. I'm just asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in for what, a series?
And like I said, again, I'm not going to poo-poo them to try to make a change, to try to surprise somebody, to keep them off guard, right? Now, we've done that multiple times in games this year with onside kicks, and okay, all of a sudden a surprise start. But when it's a walk-on lacrosse player, I don't really think they're like, it's not driving fear into the defense, right, or the opposing player. So
they were just chomping at the bit, dude. They were after him every down. They were after him, poor dude.
Right. So again, like I said, I can see a situation to come out and try to catch somebody off guard and see basically how long it works. But at some point, when that's not working anymore, you have to have a backup plan.
Yeah, there wasn't a backup plan. It didn't seem.
Well, the backup plan was Carney doing the same thing.
Again, I could repeat myself, but yeah, okay. All right. So, I mean, look, it's not what I was expecting. I want to win football games. I want to believe what coach says when he says we're going to put in the best person to help us win football games. I just failed to see it on Friday night, and it was a waste of time to watch. And the crowd wasn't much for very long, and I don't blame them. And I just feel like after a performance like that, you're not going to lose people like Joe and I, and probably most of the people that listen to this show, but you're going to lose a lot of people. You're going to lose a lot of support pulling that kind of like performance. Well, that kind of performance just isn't going to hold people's attention.
No, and again, you're going to have the fans that are, as soon as we're not winning or we're not going to make a bowl game, they check out. And then there's other people that are going to understand. You know, I can see a situation where a lot of guys, you know, a lot of fans aren't going to tune in to the Miami and the Notre Dame games, right? I mean, at this point, why would they? And then, you know, you have to worry about what is the attendance going to look like the last game of the season at home against Boston College, you know? So, yeah, it's difficult for sure. But also, too, I saw some speculative stuff on the internet saying, you know, that, like you said, I almost feel like that, like, because he talked about playing with 18 freshmen, or he's playing a lot of young guys. And also, too, it kind of goes back to just having to trust the process and trust Fran, as far as, like, if we know that Fran, he's going to play the guys that are proving it in practice and that are showing, you know, the want and the will to play. So who knows? I don't want to say he's losing, you know, the locker room, but, you know, who knows? There might be some more experienced players that they experienced last year, and maybe they're just a little bit down in the dumps because they're not winning, right? And maybe that translates to them, you know, really not putting in a lot of effort to practice. So, and we know that Fran's going to play the guys that have basically put in the effort and that are practicing hard and feel like they want to win. So to me, that's kind of what it felt like. And there's a lot of people that think that he's kind of just getting the young guys experience and seeing what they got and getting them prepared for next year, and kind of, not saying he's cashing in this year. He's going to try to win, but also it seems like he's kind of trying to get some experience for those younger players as well. So I don't know. If you want to talk about fairness, if you want to talk about everything, again, it's a lot of speculation because you don't really know, and I just have to trust what he says.
Right, but that's what we do. I mean, if you do stuff like that, then it's left to speculation, because that's the nature of anybody who is watching the game and then talks about it, or whether it be on a podcast or the radio or amongst yourselves. I mean, that's the nature of it. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, this isn't even really his sport, and you throw him in there. I just talk about not ready. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I respect the kid for doing it. I don't want to be disparaging, especially to Filardi at all, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not really like his fault. He got a shot, and there has to be nerves in there, and I think it showed a little bit, but I just don't know. I don't know the answer. I think that when you look at the rest of the schedule, it's like, why you wouldn't try to go out and win this game and you experiment now, I don't know. You can't do it against the next two teams either, I guess. I guess there's really no good time for it, Joe. At this point in the season, the experimentation is over. I just felt like it was a poor coaching decision, and it's probably the first one that I could really, blame Fran for since he's been here. So in all fairness, I'm pretty much have been in agreement with what he's been doing, but when he kind of went against his own, I feel like he went against his own philosophy here a little bit. I mean, I do. I mean, he says that he showed us it in practice. I would love to see what the hell happened in practice that showed you this kid was ready over all the other three. The other three, including obviously Ricky Collins. I mean, we're talking about a fifth string guy.
That I just have to believe that Fran Brown he's trying to build his culture, and I just have to believe that there's a reason that he did it. And like you said, I'd like to see what you did in practice. Well, we know that Ricky Collins has got a better chance of throwing the ball and passing, but we don't know what happened last week, whether there was incidents off the field, whether there was lack of effort, whether there was, some people not putting in the effort or not giving everything that he wants, and maybe, not living up to his culture that he wants. That's about the only thing that I can really, really think, because it's obvious that Ricky, gives us the best chance to win right now based upon what quarterbacks are healthy. But at the same time, Fran's also not the type of coach that's going to allow just because you're talented with Fran, like, you still have to do all the other things, right? That he basically demands from his team. So there's multiple things that could happen throughout a week, whether it's in practice, whether it's he got in trouble outside of school, whether he isn't going to class, and I'm not saying that any of those reasons but I'm just using, the things that he's brought up before, that we can say Ricky's the best but we don't know what happened. So again, I just got to go with what Fran's always talked about. If he beat him out in practice, if he beat him that week in the culture that he's trying to set up, then, I guess kudos for Fran for, like you said, I mean, you want to say that he went against what he said, but at the same time, maybe he didn't. Maybe if by just starting the older players that think that they're better than everyone else, but they don't put in the effort, maybe that's him going against his culture and what he wants to build there. So maybe he was trying to prove a point. Maybe he was trying to teach a lesson to some players in practice or that week that maybe, didn't exemplify the dart mentality and the culture that he's trying to bring. And that's kind of what I'm.
So he was trying to prove a point maybe to other players. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying you can't let a locker room run you. Like, he's got a culture, he's got expectations, he's got demands, and if you don't live by those, then he's going to play other guys, regardless of how talented you are.
Right. The inmates don't run the asylum.
Right.
Just real quick, mention Anwar Sparrow. I wanted a defensive touchdown. I thought they were going to need a defensive touchdown to win this game. When they got that touchdown, I thought, okay, they have a shot. Unfortunately, that was their only touchdown of the game. Was Anwar Sparrow. So I didn't expect it to be the only touchdown, and we needed other ones.
Yes,
but
yes.
That would have helped. Anyway, shout out to Anwar Sparrow. He's a Virginia Beach dude. He went to high school like 2 miles down the road from where I live. So. Cool to see. But anyway. All right. It's time to hear from you. All right. Let's try to make this part quick. I'm going to grab something to drink. You're already set up to where you need to be. So it seems to be working fine. So give me a second. I'll be right back.
Yep. All right.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, it's that time of the show. Y'all know what to do. At the end of every game, we ask for your thoughts on that game. You leave them here. We'll still continue to do that. Maybe one thing that won't continue is previews, because it could be a waste of time. And I know Joe hates that idea, but...
What?
Skipping previews. I just don't know what to say. Especially for the next two. You're what?
Yeah. Then I'm okay with it.
Okay. I'll do Twitter. Joel will do Facebook, and we'll start right now. At SSN Syracuse, sideline Syracuse. Fran and his staff have no idea what they're doing, and he needs to make changes in the offseason. I mean, I don't think one game can define that, and I really only have a problem with that one game, and that's how I feel about it. I didn't really question much else once I find my English of his decisions that were made. There were some decisions, small things you could criticize any coach for up to this point, that I didn't agree with or that were questionable, but nothing this large. And I don't think that, I don't believe he has no idea what he's doing. I think that's a jump in the shark comment. At Joe, what do you think, Joe? Right, I'm assuming you agree.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, I mean, you can watch any football game, whether it's a win or a loss, and you can question on both sides of the ball play calling at some point. It all depends on if you're winning or losing as to how much you want to highlight that. So,
hold on, I lost my place. At Joe Catskill, man, that was hard to watch. I thought the offensive play calling really lost the game. Well, I don't think it wasn't necessarily the play calling as it was the actual execution of the plays that lost the game. So, I mean, I get it. There's one play call, and that was putting in a fifth string quarterback that I didn't agree with.
Obviously wasn't string.
Huh?
He obviously wasn't fifth string.
Yeah, well, apparently.
Starting the year he was.
Right, apparently. Right. Apparently he's third or fourth. We're calling it fourth, though. Really.
You can call it fourth all you want. The other day was second.
Well,
the other day was first.
The other day was first, bro. But, up until the other day, he was fourth. And that's not counting Angeli.
You don't know that.
Oh, that is counting Angeli. Okay. I don't know that. Then why haven't we seen him yet? Why have we seen Ricky Collins and Luke Carney? How come this is the first time we're seeing him?
Can't answer that question, sir.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I can't either, so I have to assume that he was fourth. At Joe Catskill, and I mean, poor Jakari Williams. I mean, what's that say for him? I have no idea. Keep going with Joe. That plus we can't stop the run. Yeah, problem all year. Totally agree. A couple of games ago, coach said, wait till you see us next year. I guess we will. Go Orange. At Theo Cuse, potential program changing cluster F on national TV. I totally agree 100% with that comment. Like, that's how I felt. Like, what are we doing? Primetime football. What are we doing? I've honestly never witnessed anything like this in my life, not during my son's 10U games 9 years ago. And what hemisphere was this quarterback better than Collins? Is Fran still in the conversation for the Penn State job? Oof. I agree with everything up until then, and I get the frustration, but yeah, I feel that one. At Saltine Warrior 4, I can't bank on Steve being healthy and such a difference maker next year that we suddenly become a playoff contender. The supporting cast and coaches aren't good enough. I think there's a little bit in there that I would elaborate on, and that's the supporting cast. Like, things are different under different quarterbacks. I mean, there's different effort given. There's different, I think it's human nature to be in a certain mindset when there is certain people at the wheel. I mean, I think that lack of confidence can change the way a player just mentally. If you've got a lack of confidence in a quarterback, I think mentally it's hard for you to get in the game. And I mean, you could say, oh, well, I kind of saw it, or maybe we did or didn't. But at the end of the day, I think it's human nature. And so the supporting cast was looking pretty good under Steve Angeli. And then now it's not. And that is all of the injuries and things like that aside. So, at IlCuse44, can't help but wonder if the media and fans didn't have a platform. Would Ricky have started that game? I would like to think, this is a good point, because I thought it, but I thought it before too. I would like to think that would not be the case, but coach did mention it. And I think he just mentioned it honestly to be like, well, y'all were wanting another quarterback or asking about another quarterback. Well, you saw it, basically, is what he said.
Yeah.
He goes,
I don't think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I don't think that he meant it like that.
I don't either, but he acknowledged it.
Really, I mean, he's going to acknowledge it, right? Because that's all that we've heard. But realistically, that's what we talked about. I don't think Fran's going to do it to prove a point. Let's just put it that way.
I am with you. I am. That doesn't change my mind on that being a terrible decision, and I'm not sure what it was based off of. What you mentioned at the beginning of the show was the only way to pull that off, and it didn't happen. So, yeah. He obviously gives us the best chance to win. He's talking about Ricky, and I totally agree. And I only say that because he's the only quarterback that they let throw or apparently has the self-confidence to throw. That's a great point. We're not letting Luke Carney throw. They did let Filardi throw, and you know, a lot of it was just like you mentioned, Joe, timing. Some of it was just way off. He's lucky. There was a couple passes that he's really, really lucky weren't picked. We talk about, well, he didn't throw the other team. Well, they missed some opportunities to pick him off. They just didn't get him, thankfully. So, and if you don't get him, you don't get him, right? So there wasn't he didn't throw an interception, period. And that's the reality of it. But
he fumbled.
But he did fumble. But I mean, the interceptions were right there. That was on the UNC defense to not capitalize on some of that. Let's just call it Cuse Ape. Second quarter, 3rd down and 4, something left. They were stalking in the box. Hold on a second. Second quarter, 3rd down and about 4. Something left. They were staking the box. Even the announcers were saying it. Yeah, they were loading the box up. Yeah. This says staking, but I get it. Everyone knew they were coming except Nixon. The best way to beat a blitz is with a quick throw, slant, quick out, etc. I was watching on TV, so I couldn't see the whole content. So, yeah, I mean, I was wondering myself why they didn't, UNC got their game going with some screen passes. Their offensive game got going with some screen passes and stuff, some short stuff. I don't understand why we didn't bother with any of that. Something to gain a little bit of confidence, get some completions, gain some yards, get Yassine Willis the ball differently, get Will Nixon the ball differently. I mean, whatever you got to do to kind of move the ball. I mean, a lot of this stuff was down the field, and I mean, I don't know. They were just one-on-one in these guys, and once they started doing that on defense, that was it. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I do not know. At Oil Cuse, I was incorrect in my pregame comment. Wow, that was nasty. Almost as nasty as Joe eating a you-know-what. Let's see. At Orange Skin, another Fran disaster class. He has totally mismanaged quarterbacks since the moment Angeli was injured. I would disagree. I'd push back on that. And to my whole point of since the beginning of the show. I remember he went and got Angeli because he felt like Ricky wasn't going to be able to do it, or anybody else for that matter, right? And Ricky came in for Steve, so that has to tell you that Ricky gave us the best shot in his mind to win. And I'll say it again. I don't think that he mismanaged much. In the QB situation since the moment Angeli was injured. I think that he mismanaged it. In my opinion, I think that he mismanaged it on Friday.
Yeah, that's fair, because realistically, Ricky Collins, he won the first string spot in spring ball, right?
Right.
Like before Angeli was there. And I think, a lot of us really understand now why we went out and got Angeli, because so that's not mismanaging the quarterback position when you actually realize that you don't got really a number one that's going to get you where you need to be. Right. So he went and did that. And then after that, he had the next best option come in. So again, he's at practice. He's checking out their school and as far as what they're doing outside of practice and outside of football. And he's already said that's the stuff that he's going to go with. So I'm going to trust that Fran is making these decisions based upon the culture that he's trying to cultivate at Syracuse, and that's it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you as a fan, and I mean everybody can't question these things. I mean, I was questioning a lot.
Oh, you can absolutely question it, but at the end of the day, you're never going to know. So talking like what's going to happen or know why that happened, we don't know. Because realistically, when you look at everybody else, like I said, I feel like Jakari Williams is probably going to transfer. He lost the spot to Ricky Collins in the spring. We had the freshmen come in. So between, Bellin and Filari and Luke Carney, they're all true freshmen. And then there's just Ricky. So after Ricky, I could see a situation where he starts any of the other guys, right? But at the end of the day, you can't you can say that he mismanaged it. You can, but then at the same time, we also have all these fans that were calling for Luke Carney, calling for another quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of these Monday morning quarterbacks from the couch that want to sit here and say, oh, well, what are you doing? This is the same people that they were yelling to get Ricky out of the game the week before because we got to have some better options. And at the end of the day, you have to trust the fact that the coach is making the right decision based upon what he sees at practice, because none of us are there.
I mean, there was, like I told you, I think it was when Filardi was like 3-15 for 33 yards, and I say something on Twitter, the response is, well, he had to do something. At least he hasn't thrown interceptions. It's 30, guys, it's 30. We're in the third quarter, man. It's 33.
That's because we were winning still.
Yeah, on a defensive touchdown and a field goal. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. This is not
one completion in the first half.
That's not. Yeah, it is not. It is not a winning strategy. Like, it is so heir apparent. It's so frustrating to watch. It's like you get all excited all day. I set myself up all day to be home and watch this freaking game, and I see what I saw, and it pissed me off. And I mean, I don't get pissed to the point where like I'm gonna sulk over it, but like I was disappointed. I mean, that sucked. So, at Barry Cuse, feels like we got triple. Hold on, I'm reading. Triple anal suplexed through barbed wire and covered in oil. Only the B messaged by only 2B. I think he means only 2B massaged by a little middle-aged man with who matches his company's 5% 401k. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. I don't know, it's too much for me. At CBB Crow, F Fran Brown, too prideful. Damn. Get a real DC. What a joke. I mean, that's the voice of anger right there.
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, look, more of the same. I really do get it. I really do understand some of the frustration. Like I said, this is like the one real time I've questioned what the hell the coaching staff, but mostly Fran Brown was doing, and I'll just leave it at that. I do think that Joe and I mean, it's hard to do this show every day or every week, talking about, well, we need another quarterback. Joe, how long have we been dealing with that? It doesn't matter who's at quarterback, though. That's the thing, man. Like, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback or what stage of the game it's in or what stage of the year it's being done. There's always someone. Let's not forget against UConn that all the buzz was that Steve Angeli sucked, put Ricky Collins in, bench him.
It was halftime in the Tennessee game.
Well, that's true, too. But it was really being called for hard during UConn. Like, that's when I saw it the most. That's when I got like the most personal text messages from friends and family. And so it's like, oh, you know, I'd rather have Tommy DeVito. Well, okay, look. And then this happens. It's just like, it's a never ending cycle of stupidity for me. I can't with it every week.
Yeah, and the whole D, and again, you're going to hear the whole D coordinator thing. I mean, we held them to 6 points for the whole first half.
Yeah, and then they got gassed.
They had, well, not even gassed. They broke one play, right, where there was a missed tackle for their first touchdown in the third quarter, and then they ended up getting another touchdown later in the fourth or earlier in the fourth quarter off of a fumble where they had it on our side, right? So realistically, you take that away, then they really only had like 2 touchdown drives that were of any, significance, and that was later in the game, like you said, when our defense is gassed, and at that point, probably again, like you said, they were losing confidence in the fact that our offense was going to be able to do anything, right? And that does affect, like you said, it's human nature, and it does affect the way the defense plays as well. Players will start taking chances to try to make a play because they feel like they need to make up for the offense. So I don't think that it's fair to blame the defensive coordinator on that one.
No, I feel like a defense, and this is the story of the year, I really feel like the defense has done a really good job in the first half of doing what they can. And, I mean, you've got you're failing to convert on third downs. I think 12 what are they? 3 for 12 on third downs for the game.
Yeah.
The defense, the defense kept it close through the whole first half. But with the offense unable to sustain drives, like we talked about, fatigue's going to sit in, and then that's it. I mean, and there was, there's been sloppy tackling all year. And I mean, there definitely was some sloppy tackling. But again, it's the run game that really killed us. And, it's just a lot of it has to do with the offense. And I really believe that. And I'm going to stick by it because they've been doing a really good job. If not for the whole first half, beyond that even in most of these games. Okay, everybody's going to have a bad day, but you can't blame the defense for that second half necessarily, man. I just don't think that's a fair assessment. You can be mad about it. You can be mad about the missed tackles,
Right.
and you can be mad about them letting all those supposed freaking 21 points in the second half. You can be mad about all that. It's just, I just don't think you can lay the blame there. We talked about it in the preview that this team was going to have to, this offense was going to have to sustain drives for this to be a win. And, we even requested help from the defense, which scoring, which we got. Let's not forget, the defense is the only, they're responsible for the only touchdown for Syracuse on Friday night. So I don't think that's fair. But
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe, with Facebook. What you got? Can't wait. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. So Ted says, somewhere Ricky Collins is smirking. Feel bad for this team. That performance has the entire nation laughing at this team. How can a team be completely derailed by one player going down? And then he has this quote. This is, rock bottom isn't the end. It's the foundation you rebuild yourself on. I don't know what that point was, but
I mean, I get the point. I mean, he feels like this is rock bottom. I mean, as fans, let me read me the first part of that again, real quick.
First part, somewhere Ricky Collins is smirking. Feel bad for this team. That performance has the entire nation laughing at this team.
Right. So as fans, he's feeling what I'm feeling. And that is that this was so embarrassing and it didn't need to be. That in a nutshell is how I felt after this game. This game was a crap show and it didn't need to be, in my opinion. And we'll never know. But that's my opinion. It didn't need to be this bad. But at the end of the day, it was this bad. And it's embarrassing. So, Joe, you live in the Tri-Cities area, right? So, I'm close enough. I know plenty of UNC fans. I had a freaking buddy of mine that went to a Halloween party last night with me and my wife. My buddy's a UNC fan. That was throwing the party. So I knew it. Before he even said, good to see you, buddy, I got crap about that game. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, as fans, it sucks. It sucks being a fan and having to deal with that stuff, and that's part of it, and that's the fun of it. But at the end of the day, Ricky Collins probably was sitting on the sideline, like I said earlier. He was probably sitting on the sideline going, man, I could do better than this. And he just wasn't put in. So, and as far as I know, there was no injury. I mean, I feel like Coach would have said as much if that was the case.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
We're not going to know.
No, but what do we do the next two games, Joe? Like, what do we do the next two games?
We sit and we wait.
No, like,
that's what we do.
We sit and we wait for the games, but what happens in the games? What are your expectations? Do you expect Ricky Collins to start? Are we gonna do this whole thing with Filardi again? Are we gonna put in Luke Carney and have him scramble around like Dan Villari? I mean, I don't know. What are we doing?
I have no idea. Stay tuned to next week.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's my point. It's like I don't know. I don't know either, man. I don't know either. Yeah. We are 9 games into a 12-game season, and none of us know. We don't know.
You'll like this one.
I'm sure.
Johnny says, I don't get it. Hell, I have 4 years of eligibility. Just toss me out there under center. Did they honestly think a lacrosse recruit who was a walk-on would lead them to victory tonight? No shade on Filardi. Hell of an athlete and a great high school quarterback, but he was set up to fail. Seems like they've been trying to save a redshirt for Carney, but why would you bring him in for one series again tonight and waste another game if you're not going to start him? Surely he must be more prepared than a fifth-string walk-on. But my main issue is you have Miami and Notre Dame coming up. What's the plan going forward? As harsh as it sounds, they should have just led Collins to slaughter for these 3 games because he's gone after this year anyway. Save Carney in his red shirt and let him play the BC game. There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. And I had comments, and I kind of lost them all. But I will say that he mentioned Filardi being a fifth string quarterback. According to Joe, he's not. He's first string.
According to the coach, he's not.
He was a fifth string at one point. He's a fourth string that started last week. That's the truth. Anyway, there's a lot there. I can. That's kind of to my point. Like, what are we going to do the next two games? Like, I understand Miami just lost. That's awesome because we're going to have to play them at Miami, and then we're going to have to go to Notre Dame and play them. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, well, Miami's not going to...
Do what?
They lost to SMU yesterday.
So. I know. That's what I'm saying. They just
Miami
lost.
lost to SMU yesterday, so they're not going to be happy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They just lost, and we're going to go play them at home. So that's, that doesn't bode well for us. I mean, we're really looking at, 7 losses in a row. And then you get to a Boston College who narrowly, well, I don't know. They held in there pretty damn good yesterday with Notre Dame. They ended up getting their asses waxed a little bit, but they held it in there for a good amount of time. So, they're showing signs of life despite only having one win. But I mean, it's kind of more than what we're doing right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let me roll out the rest of these. I got a couple more. Sound good?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to mute to yell at my cat. Go ahead.
No, So Brian from Facebook, we know the offense, especially at the quarterback position, and protection is really bad, but the run defense has been getting destroyed this year. Lots of big plays against them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. When it was 13-10 and we had a chance for a field goal and went backwards for a 4th and 23 out of field goal range, that was the dagger in what was probably inevitable anyway. Mm-hmm. Glad I'm out of town. Apparently, YouTube TV has cut off ties with ABC/ESPN and Disney. A friend of mine was looking for a podcast. I suggested here and also Dofu, and he got it there. I don't know what that means. So, a couple good points. Thanks for the suggestion to your friend. Let's see. Always going to end with Andy, but we do have top fan Dom.
Oh, yes. Dom was there. Yes, he was.
Got a picture with Gio and Mike McAllister.
He got what?
And he found Gio.
Oh, nice.
He had a picture, I think, on Twitter or something. You know how Gio and Mike McAllister do the pregame?
Right, yeah.
He went to wherever the pregame was and got a picture or whatever. So he got to meet Gio. Dom, and this is, I guess, a little positive here. Dom says, last time I was at a game and the team played this poorly, it was Clemson the year Dungy almost died. The only problem, UNC isn't even in the same stratosphere as that Clemson team. I'm really tired of not having competent backups at the quarterback position. Bright side, my 11-year-old was on the Jumbotron 3 times and will never let his 2 older siblings live it down.
There you go.
So
that's a good day.
Hey, that's a good day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the son, memories. Some stuff that he could throw in his sibling's face for the rest of his life.
Hey, you can make memories out of bad games, man. We've done it. I mean, any game you
last time we played.
Yeah, well, the last time we played North Carolina, that's right. That was a good day, though.
Yeah, it was definitely a good day. I had a great time.
Yeah, and we got destroyed. So
yeah, it was.
It's always good to go to a game, win or lose, just to experience it. And it was close in the first half, and there was. I still had hope even after that first touchdown in the third quarter for UNC, and when they went up, 13-10 or something like that, and you're thinking, this is still a game. We've done pretty good defensively so far. Missed tackle, long run, right? Wasn't that like a 44-yard run, wasn't or something like that?
What, for the touchdown?
Yeah.
72.
What? No.
72. No, I'm talking about the touchdown. The touchdown.
Oh yes, okay, yes, right.
There was a pass.
It was a pass.
Screen pass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a 72-yard pass.
That's right. Okay. So yeah, it was a big play. I remember that.
Huge play.
Yeah. So those are momentum builders too, though. I mean, if you're a UNC who is, by the way, this, I know no one really cares about this stuff, but I do. And I don't know why, because I hate when people build their resume off of my team. And Bill Belichick gets his first ACC win in the Dome against Syracuse, and we're over here playing Madden. Like, you know, it's just like we're playing Madden on all Madden for whatever reason, and then we're throwing in a fourth string quarterback. So, you know, it doesn't hurt worse than the loss, but it's just like one of those things that's just the dagger, the nail in the coffin for me on that game is him getting his first ACC win when I felt like we didn't need to put ourselves in a position to be that team. So, is that it?
No. So the last one, top fan Andy.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. He's got good news. We know what we have at quarterback. Bad news. We know what we have at quarterback. Even with Angeli returning next year, you've got to go out and get some experienced quarterbacks and review what is going on with recruiting guys who can't throw the ball. On the defense front, you either fire Robinson or bring coaches into his staff to help him. Next year is a make or break year for Fran, especially with the easy to medium schedule. He won't survive another year like this. Think about that.
He won't survive another year like this? I mean, I get it. I don't know. I think so. I mean, look what we've...
I guess that's kind of my issue, right? It's funny how fast things change, right?
Look, man, this stuff moves quick. The pace, the pace of this game is different, and you better take the least amount of time to get your stuff together, because there's too many people doing this at a clip that far exceeds what Syracuse is doing it in both their two major sports. And we always thought that this was going to be a possibility. And I think that the longer that this goes on, the worse that it's going to get. And you just, for me, myself, I put a lot of faith in Fran to be able to do this with a school. I still do think that he's the best option for a coach right now and what we are able to do monetarily. And I think he makes up for a lot of the monetary issues with his charisma and the way that he can command a team and recruit, and the way I believe he commands the locker room. So, I mean, just think back to even like the Georgia Tech game. Okay, yeah, we got our asses kicked, right? Well, you remember he was out there banging heads with the guys before the game. I mean, he's doing everything he can to get these kids hyped up. I mean, he is not like it's not that he's not exciting to be around. You know what I mean? Like I still feel like he can. If anyone's going to do it, he can. A lot of it isn't the coach. A lot of it is just the rules that we deal with, and the things, the culture of the NCAA in general. I think that it's put this team, this school, at a disadvantage.
I mean, let's be honest, right? There's a lot of Power 5 schools that before he got here were recruiting better than us. And then you throw in the caveat that now it's legal with the NIL and the amount of money that some of these schools get. They can go out and get the NFL players that have 1 year left from some of these other lower schools. And, it's going to be hard to beat. He's spoken that he doesn't want to build this culture and this team through NIL. Like, he wants to do it through specific transfers and through recruiting. Like he spoke in this press conference. He lost 12 guys, went to the NFL. Last year, he got a couple seniors, and we had a whole bunch of seniors he had to talk to stay back in, or to stay and not transfer. And, we had an easy to medium schedule, like to Andy's point. And I think he did that to kind of, set the standard and set the culture that he was looking for. But then this year, he got a lot of transfers that have multiple years, and he's got a top He had one of the better recruiting classes we've had in a little while this past year. Next year, we're still in the top 25 as far as recruiting. So we're recruiting at a better rate. It's just these younger guys, they need to come up. I mean, there's also the thought of, is he showing these young guys that there's a path to quicker playing time? Is he playing younger guys so that in hopes that they don't transfer, to try to make them happy, to let them get a little bit of experience and say, okay, hey, look, you're going to play next year. You're going to be a big part of this team. There's so many things, but he's basically told us that he does not want to set this team up through just 1 year transfers. He wants to build a culture. And this year, with the schedule we have, and with Angeli going down, and just the way that the pins have fallen, I think that's kind of what he's more concentrating on at this point. And I know that fans don't want to hear about giving up on the season, and not to say that they're going to give up and not try, but if things aren't working, he's got to try other guys. And if there's other younger guys that are putting in more effort and they want to play more than some of those older guys that might be disappointed on how this season went, then I don't blame him either. So there's a lot going on there. And it's funny because we beat Clemson and everyone was talking about, oh, we're going to lose Fran to all these schools. I mean, Hugh Freeze just got fired. I mean, they have openings at Auburn, at Florida, at LSU, Penn State. I mean, there's some big name teams where they have openings in head football coaching. And now I just read a comment saying that if Fran has one more year like this and he's going to get fired from Syracuse, like that in 4 or 5 weeks, that just changed just like that.
Well,
from like, we're afraid to lose Fran to a big school and we better get him an extension, to he better figure his shit out. Otherwise he might be gone after next year.
Right.
Like, that's just,
we also heard there was a comment earlier about Penn State is still looking for a coach or something like that. Right. So,
right.
Yeah. Nadal says in the Spaces, Autry on year 3 at a basketball school, the anti-frown barking is a minority of the fans and falls on deaf ears. So, I do think it's a minority. Voices come across social media so loud though, because just that's what it's for, right?
Right.
It's to air your grievances, right? And I get it. I do. I just don't. It's not where my mind's at, and I think that this is obviously this year is done. And we've got 3 games left to try to go win. We're not going to get a bowl game. I don't think that's going to happen.
Mathematically, we still can.
Mathematically, we still can. I don't think it's going to happen. You go and sweep the next 3 games, and, I mean, talk about a momentum shift. I mean, wouldn't that be something? But yeah, I don't. I would bet the bank that that's not going to be the case. So
probably not.
But you still got 3 games to go out and play. You got 3 games to go out and win, and that's just what we expect them to do. I don't think that. I know that Fran set out to win this game. It did not come across the TV like that to me. That's all, and that's how I feel, because it was kind of absurd to me. I just don't feel that. In a game in a winnable game like that, you choose to do what you did. But on the flip side of that, when do you do it? Do it against Miami? You do it against Notre Dame? You wait for the last game of the season? So when do you do it, right? But I say that as someone that just circled that one on my calendar and just wanted it so bad. Just to beat Bill Belichick in the Dome that was my one thing this year. That's all. And I didn't get it. So I'm salty about it.
Fair.
And I felt like we had a chance to do it. So that's why I'm salty about it. But
that's the other reason why, is that this seemed like the most winnable game left on our schedule.
Right. So anyways, do you have anything else to say, Joe? Do you have anything else to say? Do you want to quickly just address Syracuse basketball? Super quick?
That's what I was gonna kind of say.
I know you wanted to do that. You should have done it a half an hour ago. However, we can do it now. Was it a 20-point win over Pace? 18 points. Halftime up by 2. Didn't look good.
No.
Moments where they were trailing in the game. Outscored the pace in the second half 46-30. And some standout players. Joe, you mentioned you were really big on Sadiq White. 14 points, 4 rebounds. Blocked 3 block shots. 6 from 8 from the field. Really good. Donnie Freeman coming out. 22 points, 9 rebounds. And Kyan Anthony, another honorable mention, come off the bench, 11 points. Or excuse me, came off the bench and he hit a 3 off the bench. So, and Melo was there, right? So, and let's see, Kyle William, 10 points, and Nate Kings, 10 points. So, a game where you feel like you mentioned, Joe. Well, I didn't watch it. Okay, I forgot I was on, and shame on me. But you watched the game, and you said that the 2 stars of the team, the 2 veteran guys, so to speak, in orange, Donnie Freeman and JJ Starling, were trying to facilitate or give guys an opportunity, right? And then they ended up starting to trail. So now it's on their shoulders, right, to come back. So
and that's kind of what it seemed like, yeah. And like I said, Donnie stepped up and hit some bigger shots and used his size against the smaller pace team, especially in the second half, to help. And like I said, Sadiq White, his energy, we didn't get to see him against Buffalo, but his energy is kind of contagious. Like I told you, so far, kind of my favorite player just because of the way he looked like he wanted to be out there. And that's just not. I understand that the older guys, they've played this song and dance before, and they're just ready to get into the season. And I know that JJ Starling and Donnie, they'll push the issue more when it gets to the season. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where I think if you watched it as a Syracuse fan, you like to see a team, especially a team that hasn't made the tournament in a long time. You'd like to see them come out hungry and just blow the lid off of that team. But again, Pace, Division II, not a bad Division II team. That's basically their national championship for the season. So I can understand them coming out with a little bit more energy and a little bit more like will or wanting to win that game. But eventually, we settled down and we used our talent size to overcome and win pretty handily. But we can't do that in even against a Binghamton. So that's just the one thing is I want to see them come out hungry, and I want them to, and I want Autry to play the right guys. Like if they're not out there with energy, get them out, because we are deep and there are guys out there that want to play. And like I said, one of them, Sadiq White, he looked like he was having a ball out there, and he's super athletic. His motor doesn't end, and surprisingly hit a couple threes. So who knows? We might have a lot more depth as far as offense and stuff like that than we thought originally coming into it. So again, I'm excited, but to David Super's point in the spaces, definitely trying to be cautiously optimistic, because I don't want to set myself up for disappointment this year. And to Nadal's point, Syracuse basketball has got different expectations than Syracuse football. Boeheim, his tenure didn't end the last couple of years the way he wanted, and then Autry came in, and we've yet to win the tournament. So I can see a situation where there's a lot of fans that aren't going to have a lot of patience this year, especially considering the talent that we have. So we shall see. But it starts on Monday, 7 against Binghamton.
Tomorrow against Binghamton, and then that's it, man. We're hit the ground running. And to your point, last year we saw it. If you're not going to put forth effort and energy, I mean, coach will take you out. So, anyway, I don't expect that. I think this team's better than last year. I'm excited to see what they can do. I wish the non-conference wasn't as long as it is, and we could get this thing underway a little bit sooner. But so is the nature of it. But we will, we'll see. And it's hard to believe that here we are already doing the overlap stuff. So, but that's it. That's what we got. It happens every year. So, That is going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. And obviously, if you're still here, we appreciate you even more. Also, everybody in the spaces, appreciate you guys. Always a pleasure. It's always the same people, but it doesn't matter. We love you. We appreciate you. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.